Hello, everybody. This is the Aquarium Medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a video about a lot of things, including the full moon in Pisces. We just have to look at a bunch of charts to figure out exactly what is going on with these energies. I've got Edgar Cayce pulled up with Jesus Christ. And as you can see, Jesus was born on March 3rd, 0003 at 3:33 a.m. This chart I've been working with for a few years. It was given to me telepathically. And I am wanting to show you guys what is actually taking place. It's definitely beginning today with my intuition and what I'm being shown today. I want to show you guys. So the double new moon that happened in July 2020, this is where we look back on 2020 and understand this is hindsight. We were taught a few things that were going to come into manifestation with these energies. And when I compare these energies, I want you to understand that I'm comparing numbers. So we're going to look at the numbers, and then we're going to talk about them and what they actually mean in the sign that they are in. Edgar Cayce had a link, a connection to Christ, and it was through his Pluto in the 10th house. This is where he receives fame. This is where he was a leader. He understood earth changes that were to come in the future. He understood the economic changes that would take place in the future. And the way that he understood them is through the connection with Christ, with the Christ body in this outer wheel, with partnerships and with children. They are currently, our current leaders are trying to prevent people from having children. There's an epigenetics, if God doesn't want children to be born here, there won't be children born here. This is where the sun and children will be in opposition because of this connection, because of the power that has been foreseen to come, that they want to prevent coming on the world scene. It's just, that's the way that it is. So Edgar Cayce has other energies that go with the Christ consciousness. It doesn't hit it exactly the way that this Pluto does. I connect to Christ through this 1450. I connect to the outer body with my trans Pluto in Leo. So how did Edgar Cayce know the things that would come to the United States with the Christ consciousness energy with this 2255 in Pluto in the 10th house? This is about the earth. This is about the earth changes, the economic changes. Edgar Cayce was a powerful, powerful leader. He connects to the United States. There is a pleasure that takes place, and it's very critical. It's critical with Edgar Cayce. His values were based on health, the law, government, and his Hygeia is at 1221. And as you can see, he connects to the United States body of 1221. His moon is at 1222. So that is also a connection with the ascension and descension of the body of the United States of America. Edgar Cayce wanted to share his insights about the health of the United States, the health of the world. Health was very important to Edgar Cayce, the health of our monetary system, the economic changes that he foresaw with the coming changes of the earth. He has some other numbers that are definitely connecting to this chart, such as Chronos. I am connected to this degree as well. It's where they devour the pleasures, the economic changes, And there's this devouring energy that takes place with the United States with the jab. And this is how they want to prepare for this Pluto return at 2732. So with the United States chart, they rise and they meet Selene in Sagittarius with 2704, and that is Christ's wisdom about the future. 2704. This is about the money changers. This is what Christ foresaw in the future. This is what Cayce saw in the future. The future is here. It's now. This 2704 matches the 2704. This 1319, where the sun shines on relationships, is why Christ was so emotional about the future and why this volcanic activity is foreseen. With the United States and what they are doing with this energy, instead of being a world leader and teacher, they are creating burdens. They are changing, they are exchanging in the temple, and they are redesigning the human being, which upset Christ. And today, before the full moon, this 1410 is his discord at 1408. The dark moon of the future at 715 is coming into the dark moon at 709. It will come into 715. Cayce's intense experience with children, with his father, the warring that was with his father that gave him the ability, as he was hit in the head several times, it gave him the ability to be able to speak to Christ directly. The full moon tonight shows us that this 2225 goes to what they are hiding. The government is hiding with the health. Their business deals. With the sun, with children, with the age of Aquarius. This outer wheel is just showing that Pluto is very strong with the government. There's a lot of changes taking place as I record this video. Major upheavals are coming for them. Major upheavals. This 2130 is 2130. Was teaching us something when I recorded that new moon, the double new moon in Cancer, July 2020, where I spoke about Junior coming back. That new moon was teaching me about this 915, which goes to JFK Jr. It was teaching me, communicating with me about the government. This 2733 goes to this 2734, the desires to communicate through visions with Christ, with the future, values of the world, of the United States. The physician that communicates to us with this Christ consciousness chart connects to us at 233. This is the physician with the power of the mind, with the duality of life and death. And the darkness at 929 is the communications in the future with Putin. There's a lot that's going to come to head that we just cannot foresee. And God's will is being done with JFK Jr., with communications, with this quick movement energy that's going to teach us. And this is where it could come out of Russia, empower us as siblings, as brothers and sisters, and bring us together. This Christ desires with God in the future, communications, these visions, this 2734. Not only does JFK Jr. have this 233, but he also has this 2734. It's a wound. And this goes back to his dad. It's conjunct the moon. JFK Jr. is very, very intuitive. Very intuitive. We can see with this full moon that Saturn is at 712. Biden's Pluto is at 713. So it's been transiting today with that 713. Tonight it'll be at 712. We can see Joe Biden has this doorway with the United States at that 2128 that I connect with as well through a doorway. It is where he takes this life path of warring, this fire energy, this blood, this vaccines, and this 928 that is going to the dark moon, that's going to Putin as well. We can see that Selena is at 925. She'll be going to that 921 to teach us. We can also see that the dark moon has just went over tonight at 709, has passed this wound of Vladimir Putin. So the wound of the darkness with his Chiron at 705 has passed, but this 700, where Saturn is coming into in the next 2 weeks. So there's a lot taking place, and it's really hard to keep up with everyone's energies, the way that they are expressing themselves. As an astrologer and an observer, it's my path to try and understand these energies and how they are expressing with energies that, even though these people are not alive, like Edgar Cayce Jr. is supposedly not alive. These charts are calling back energies and reworking them for the future. In Christ's chart, Pallas shakes up the government at 2334. We can see that this full moon in Pisces is going to shake up with 2334. Not only does Junior have a doorway of 549 at home with an authority figure or an attorney, there's this doorway. He receives information about the health through that doorway, and it teaches him, and he's able to teach other people This is where the letter of the law is very, very important to him, and he shines with his soul work in the future with Christ. And this wound, this huge wound, his outer body is 1422. So there's going to be a shakeup when Uranus gets to this 1422. It will be a shakeup, definitely. Not only is Mercury at 2333, Jupiter is at 2332. So very close to this 2334 of the Christ consciousness chart that is showing us palace, where the government is shaken up. There is a mental exploration that when this hits, and it already has with Jupiter, it's going to with Mercury, where the Christ energy defends justice, this balance of the scales. He transforms. He is the ultimate leader, lawyer, mental explorer. Eris, the goddess of discord and strife. You know, this hits Cayce's Mars. Lots of action here from the past. This head wound, this crown that was crowned on the Christ, even though he was not a king. He was not a king of the Jews. He is not a king. This royalty that they tried to place on him, he is of God. There is no pure bloodline with Christ. Christ did not have children. This 2429 with Eris is square Pluto. It's fated with our health and with God. God's will is being done. It's in opposition with the flame of life, with Vesta, that is now transit at a 0-0, that where there's new beginnings and endings, with Vesta, with the flame of life, with the soul worker. It's also in opposition with Zeus, the magnetic field. The magnetic field, and it's opposite of Mercury. This shakeup. There's a lot of discord. And this 2913 is going to come down to this 2910 with Junior. Ed Dames delivered to us continues to deliver reports about remote viewing and what he sees, what he foresees coming in the future. This is relevant to this full moon as well, because it's showing me that he's connected to Christ. He is connected to Junior. He is connected to this time that we are in right now. I do not have the exact time for Ed Dames, and you can certainly help me out here with his birthday. I believe that I have it correct. It may be an hour or two later, but he is going to certainly connect to Christ, this higher state of consciousness, with the 220, with Christ's Vulcan, with the dark moon of the future of home at 1830 and 2228. So the 1830, the 2228 goes to his series of health in the future. This is the Aquarian home. It's where he gives service. It is where he is nurturing and caring. for his home, for the people, for humanity. And he certainly connects to Junior's darkness, this darkness that is foreseen because the sun is being messed with. The sun is being messed with. There's a higher octave that Ed Dames foresaw with death, rebirth, and regeneration with trans Pluto. And Christ's midheaven really shakes Ed Dames up. This midheaven of death, rebirth, regeneration is a mental exploration. It really shakes Ed Dames up. And what is hidden with the sun, with what is going on, is always regenerating with Ed, because he's always doing remote viewing, looking out for humanity. And his devouring energy with Kronos is very close to that 2334 of Christ. The 455, that is where the nodes are at today. Ed Dames' dark moon, this 1301, is the intense experience in the future. So as you can see with this full moon chart, the 2333 is where Ed Dames devours. And this relationship, there's definitely a fixation on this one person. And this is where this one person could definitely, we thought was dead, and now they're not. Pope Francis is also a key player in this Monopoly game. The magnetic field of Christ is at 1845. This brings intense experiences to Pope Francis in the future of the 8th house, and the lunar nodes at 1638 are definitely a strong karma that Pope Francis will be having to work out. He is going to have a lot of discord that's going to come to him. Definitely new beginnings for Pope Francis. He connects to Biden. He definitely needs to let go. In the future, we can see that this is a no-go. Definitely a no-go for Pope Francis. Astria, the pleasures that he has taken into the future house, is going to pour that truth back out. We're going to know. Saturn just came over Pope Francis Astria. This is a need to let go of friends. This is a need to move on. Saturn is now giving his desires obstacles with his health. Definitely health issues going on with Pope Francis. Limits and obstacles with his desires, as Saturn is also at 712 with this full moon tonight. Pope Francis meets up with Joe Biden's Vulcanus. This 1930 is where there's justice. There's justice with this health. With his partnerships, the 1930 just really blows up mentally with his partnerships. which brings discord, as well as the law. There is so much to show, so much to talk about. Everything that Edgar Cayce said, everything that Christ said, the Bible, Francis Bacon, King James, everything is happening according to God's plan. It always is. We are always connected, and everything is going to be okay. Trust in God. He is your healer. God is the healer. And he will never, ever allow tyranny to run amok without doing something about it. This is the time that Christ foresaw. Christ is in each one of us. Our energies are his energies. Whether they connect dead on or not, we are connected to the Christ consciousness that is spread out throughout the universe. We are God's children, all of us. Even though the connections that we have with Christ, it doesn't mean that we always work out of that higher state. But our future is bright. We have a lot to go through, though. I'm praying for all of us all the time. What is meant to be is going to be. Not one of us will die, will leave the physical body a second before we are supposed to. So happy full moon in Pisces. You guys take care, stay aware, and get ready for a big, big show. Let the showdown begin. All right. Until next time, we'll see you guys. Peace.